Welcome, everyone. We're pleased that you're accessing this presentation to learn more about some of our school reopening plans and better understand the complexities and requirements in the state's guidance for reopening Oregon schools. This presentation will look at the health and safety requirements, information regarding transportation and nutrition, teaching and learning, and a look at our proposed model. There will also be access to an important survey with information we need from you. That's being shared on our school and district websites and the district Facebook page. Our plans are, of course, in response to the virus, knowing that it could continue to increase in Oregon, it could decline, it could remain stable. It's important to recognize that the guidance that we currently have for reopening schools was developed with the realities that were known at the time it was written. The guidance could very well change before the start of the school year, depending upon what the virus does in Oregon. The state guidance provides 4 principles that are directing our work. We must make sure students and staff are safe and protected. Making connections and developing strong relationships with our students is really important. Equity is also important as we recognize, eliminate, and minimize disparities and address inequities to the best of our ability. And finally, reopening schools will also require us to work in ways that we just haven't done before. We all agree this is all uncharted territory. There are 8 sections contained within the state's guidance. The first 2, public health protocols and facilities and school operations, provided the first step in our reopening planning as they indicated the first major guardrails for us. In addition, districts need to prepare protocols or plans in response to potential outbreaks of the virus. The guidance requires equity to be embedded throughout our processes. We're doing that. And there are directions for instruction, family and community engagement, such as this presentation and the survey that we will be sharing. It also contains requirements for the health of students and staffing and personnel considerations. Equity, access, and inclusion have been the central priority in our planning. Equity is our commitment to eliminate barriers that prevent students from accessing their education. Now, access ensures that all students can take part in their school experiences. And inclusion is our commitment to making sure every student knows they belong. Here are the key principles that the Oregon Health Authority and the Oregon Department of Education provided for us as we developed a plan for bringing students back to in-school instruction. With physical distancing, we're required, this is a state requirement, we're required to keep students at least 6 feet apart in a classroom, including a 35 square foot area for each student in the classroom. So think a 7 by 5 foot area. Hand washing and hand sanitizing must occur when students enter the school, before and after recess, before and after eating, using the restroom, and just frequently throughout the school day. We must keep students in cohorts, small, stable groups throughout the day, and limit their interactions with other student groups. Again, this is a state requirement. This will allow us to keep track of who they come in contact with for contact tracing purposes. So if someone becomes sick, we'll have a better idea of who they came in contact with. Staff are required to use face coverings such as shields and masks, and sometimes we'll put up clear plastic barriers where those are necessary. Cleaning and disinfecting will be increased, especially in the high-touch surface areas. And we'll coordinate with Lane County Public Health and ensure that each school has a space or spaces where students who are symptomatic during the school day can be kept away from other students and with staff members, and they're treated with the utmost care and compassion. With all those considerations in mind, take a look at this. Members of our health and safety work group have been developing protocols around student and staff safety. Now, this list is just a snapshot of the many areas our group has identified where safety protocols need to be put in place to prepare for students to be able to return to in-school instruction. It's important to remember that we are partnering closely with Lane County Public Health in this work. And we're updating a communicable diseases plan and are adding an addendum to make sure that we have all the necessary responses to COVID-19. Lane County Public Health guides our planning for screening students for illness, what to do when students have symptoms, how to contact trace, the health and safety protocols we're developing, and even communication with families and staff. In addition, we will collaborate with Lane County Public Health should an outbreak occur and follow their guidance for when we may need to at least temporarily close a school. That's a possibility. Each school district in Oregon, along with every single school within each school district, will be completing an operational blueprint for reopening. We will submit all of our blueprints to Lane County Public Health and then share those blueprints with our school board and then submit them to the Oregon Department of Education, all of this by August 15th. Prioritizing health and safety presents some challenges for transporting large groups of students to school. Think about it. First Student provides our general transportation services, and Bethel Transportation provides transportation for students receiving specialized services. Now, students will be seated one student per seat with at least 6 feet of space between the driver and the students. Again, this is part of the state requirements. Students from the same household will be allowed to sit together. Now, prior to boarding the bus, students will be visually inspected for any possible symptoms like coughing or difficulty breathing. Any student who's exhibiting possible symptoms will be offered a mask and seated in a different seat, kind of an isolation area on the bus. They'll radio ahead to the school, and a nurse or health assistant will greet that student off the bus and then do more health checks. The district is committed to providing meals to students when they're on site or participating in distance learning. In order to minimize the number of transitions for students, they may be eating meals in locations other than the cafeteria, like their classroom. Students will be expected to wash their hands or use hand sanitizer before and after eating at school. School meals will be available for students when they're in school and when they're participating in distance learning. And finally, we're still considering the off-campus lunch privileges at the high school level and how to approach that issue. We'll continue to ensure that students with disabilities have access to general education as specified in their individualized education plans, their IEPs. Our model for delivering special education services really will rely on what the general education model looks like in its final version. We are completely and absolutely committed to ensuring that we serve our students with disabilities with the highest quality services and that students' rights are protected. And we'll also have more guidance on this coming from the Oregon Department of Education in August. For students who may have medical needs that prevent them from attending school in person, we will be working with families, their doctors, and school teams to plan for how to meet individual students' needs. We'll make sure that students who are not able to attend in person have access to their education, whether virtually or via our comprehensive distance learning program. We're committed to protecting the rights of students with disabilities and medical needs. Now, given our resources like classroom space and time for cleaning, fully in-person instruction every single day for every student is frankly, it's just not possible. And so we will have a combination or a hybrid approach. Planning for this is still in the process, the details anyway. For students who are unable to attend hybrid learning, we will offer comprehensive distance learning. Now, students who are attending the comprehensive distance learning program will have a rich, full-time online learning experience with Bethel teachers. They won't be attending any in-school instruction. Like every single school district around the country, for our hybrid learning, we considered as many models as possible. Now, left to right here from the top, we considered half-day sessions, for example, a morning session for half the day and afternoon for the other half. A full day for all students have some full days. a full week of all-day classes for a designated group of students, as much as space would allow. Perhaps we could just get a full group of kindergarten students in all day, every day. A split week, one group for a few days, the second group for a few days. Alternate weeks, for example, one group attends in school an entire week, and then the second group attends the next week. Or developing a staggered schedule with different groups of students arriving and departing at various times of the day and perhaps even into the evening. While examining those options, we evaluated each one using this criteria list. Now, some are state requirements and others are our own considerations, such as, do we really have the money to make it happen? Or do we have the space in our classrooms, in our buildings? And how will the plan work for our community, for our parents, for you? That allowed us to narrow our choices significantly. So we will be splitting our week into 2 student groups who will be able to attend school all day for certain days of the week. Now take a look at this. This shows the weekly hybrid model, and it also includes comprehensive distance learning, the full-time online instruction. That's student cohort C. Now for hybrid learning, students are split into 2 groups or cohorts. Group A will attend in person 2 consecutive days and then learn throughout distance learning 3 days a week. Cohort B will then attend 2 days in the latter half of the week. And again, cohort C is the comprehensive distance learning, the full-time online instruction group. They will not be attending classes in a school building. As you can see here, there are 2 potential scheduling options. The first one on top, the 3 lines on top, has cohort A attend Monday and Tuesday. No students at all in the building on Wednesday. That will be a school sanitizing day. And then cohort B comes to school on Thursday and Friday. Now the second option, the bottom 3 lines, shows cohort A in the building Monday and Tuesday, cohort B in school on Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday is the school sanitizing day. In the parent survey, we'll give you an opportunity to help us decide which of these 2 options works best for our students and our families, for you. Here is a timeline in our reopening preparation for the coming school year. We've been working on this since before the school year ended in June. We'll take your input from the survey, finalize the plan, seek school board approval, and submit the official plan for reopening to the Oregon Department of Education again by August 15th. We'll continue with intensive school preparations and staff training in August up until the moment we open the doors to students, whether that's in September or some other time. Now that you have some background information, a link to the survey will be shared by principals, and it will also be on each school's website and on the district's Facebook page. It is a very, very short survey, really simple, with a spot for you to share your thoughts, your ideas, and some things for us to consider. And if you have any questions that can't be addressed in the survey, call the district office at this number here, and they can determine who can best respond to you. Thank you very much.